we had never witnessed the population of humanity up against that type of toxin burden or toxin fight. Yes. We are in the midst of a worldwide health epidemic. 99% of the formula is, as science understands it, to our level of understanding as of right now, marine plasma is a substance on planet Earth that is the healthiest substance that we can put into our bodies. MasterPeace is a formula that is specifically designed to deal with intracellular level toxicity, remove the heavy metals, and the results are really speaking for themselves.
Welcome to the Drake Michigan podcast. I'm very, very excited. I've got, are you the CEO of MasterPeace, Matt?
Yeah, I'm the founder and the CEO.
Okay, so I've recently come into mind of this incredible product called MasterPeace. And I've never, apart from doing some detoxes last year, I've never used any supplements before. I've just literally, I've done some changes in terms of my dietary in the past. I've done some fasting and things like that, but I cannot believe the difference this has made. So I wanted to get Matt on. I was very excited to get Matt on to tell, because this is a new product, really. I've never heard of it before, apart from I came across a video. I thought I was really interested because the heavy metal detox side of things, but also it mentioned the nano side of things as well, which is a hot topic at the moment in the world, and also graphene. Is that right, Matt? Am I barking up the wrong tree here? But what I'm seeing to, or my own knowledge and understanding is, this is a pure way of detoxing those nasty heavy metals that you're getting literally poisoned by from all areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And full medical disclaimer, I'm not a doctor and don't pretend to be. So if you have any type of health issues and you're looking for how to deal with it, you should always talk to your healthcare practitioner. And so that being said, our world for a long time, really since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, has gotten more and more polluted. There's been an ever increasing amount of pollution. That pollution for a long time, due to the various processes, we're down to what you would call a micrometer size, which is such a small thing that you can't see it with your eye, but it's not that small in terms of when we would get it into our body through all the different ways that people take in the toxins and what I call environmental pollution or forever chemicals, and it wouldn't get inside of the cells. So it was small enough to sometimes pass by your digestive tract and get to your organs and whatnot, but it was disrupting and causing problems that were what they call intercellular, which means in between cells, not inside. About 20 or 30 years ago, there was a huge another leap in technology, and everything started going into the nano world. And so you'll hear nanotechnology and nano heavy metal and nano detoxifier. And what they're talking about is something that's 1,000 times smaller than a micrometer.
Right.
And so now you're getting into nanometer range. And so anything you hear this word nano going on, it is just a, I don't know the right prefix. I'm not a grammar teacher, but it's just talking about describing something in the nano range. Okay. Yeah. So now what that means is when you get into sizes that are 300 nanometers down and smaller, now you're talking about things that are so small that they can get inside of our cells, which if it's healthy for you is a good thing. If it's not healthy for you, can be a very bad thing. And when that happened, we had never witnessed the population of humanity up against that type of toxin burden or toxin fight, mind you, at a cellular level. So before, the body couldn't do functions that good, that your cells you're a big communication system, and your body couldn't communicate quite as good with itself, but it wasn't being destroyed from the inside out at the same time, which is what is now what our population has to deal with.
Yes.
We are in the midst of a worldwide health epidemic, and it's one of its biggest root problems. The unique part of the problem is this intra or inner cellular toxicity that we're up against. And that's what MasterPeace with the, it is a formula that's very, very natural. 99% of the formula is as science understands it, to our level of understanding as of right now. Marine plasma is a substance on planet Earth that is the healthiest substance that we can put into our bodies. It literally holds the blueprint of life. It's a long, deep subject, but it's worth learning about. But essentially, it tells your entire body that all the good nutrients are available in a perfect spectrum, and it can do its natural, beautiful, growing, expanding, transmuting, adapting, search back to homeostasis. That it's an amazing technological thing our bodies are, and they're being prevented from being able to have that kind of badassness right now. And so MasterPeace is a formula that is specifically designed to deal with intracellular level toxicity, remove the heavy metals, and the results are really speaking for themselves. It's a fun time to watch person after person have the type of experience that they've had, because I think all of us have been waiting for this, right? All of us have been waiting for that thing that was going to help for too long, whether it was your brain fog or your ability to stay in the moment or just your regular physical health or your sleep. It didn't matter how good and clean and your diet was and your lifestyle habits and whatnot was. It was people couldn't catch up to their health. They were all slowly declining in their health. And now we have something that truly takes out these stuck, trapped forever chemicals, these mycotoxins, these heavy metals, these BPAs, PFAs, and there's so many of these things that when they're at a nano level, they're not meant to be inside of your cells. Yeah. Obviously, you can't drink clean enough water to get these stuck, trapped forever chemicals out. Whatever you're doing in your life, you're not getting out these accumulating toxins. We are breathing in toxins. Whether they take an air test, they can find in every air test across the world some type of heavy metals in the air. It's rampant in our soil. It's nothing that is refutable. And going into our human body at this new nano level is destroying our population from the inside of our cells out. And MasterPeace is specifically designed to combat that and to protect us so that we can be our best version.
And I'll have my own testimony on this one, Matt. So I've
okay, yeah. How long have you been using MasterPeace?
Well, I think I've been using it for about a week and a half. The first couple of days, as I mentioned off camera, I felt disorientated because I felt that something was happening, and that was in my mind. I sometimes would, I felt at times that I would go a bit spaced out, but I knew something was going on, something good was happening, because for one, I remember the first night after using it as well. My dream was very clear, very bright, where normally I don't remember my dreams, but I was able to recall specific moments of that dream. And I can still even see it now of that dream. I can still picture moments from that. And that hasn't happened many times in my lifetime. So, and then after about 2 or 3 days of where I felt a bit spaced out, that cleared. And I've just felt fantastic ever since. And I take it religiously every morning, 6 drops in the morning and 6 drops at night. And I'm halfway through my first bottle. I must admit, you've got me with it. I must admit, I'm so glad that I made that purchase. Like you say, we're under attack, and I've said this on the podcast to numerous guests in the past. We are unfortunately under attack. It doesn't matter. You could go in a supermarket and think you're buying the best organic food there is, but the chances are there's going to be a lot of crap in there. So how do you get that out of your system? And I'd never come across marine plasma before. It's something I'd never heard of, but I had heard of the great properties, obviously, of seawater. But what you're telling us is there is a specific part of seawater, actually, not just seawater, that has great benefits, and this is marine plasma. And then with zeolite, because I only heard of zeolite last year, because that's something that takes away the heavy metals, I presume. So if you could explain a bit about that, Matt, because I'm a complete novice and I am very interested.
So why don't we dive deep into the formula of MasterPeace, because it's not about like, we have a real isolating and compartmentalizing, which is a very bad way to look at all things, because we're in a connected world in all ways. All things are interconnected. And so for us to try to figure out the whole thing and find our way back to best health and be looking at things in terms of isolated, that's not what we really want to do. So when we're looking at holistic formulas, everybody's getting into a holistic lifestyle, which is mind, body, and spirit health. Okay. So whatever aspect of holistic medicine we're talking about, and right now we're talking about a nutraceutical, but what the best approach when you're looking at doing a formula is number one, find out the very best way to remove whatever thing we're looking at, which is like in this case, forever chemicals or heavy metals, especially graphene is a heavy, that obviously would be pulled out by MasterPeace, or at least would bind to it and then purge out of the body for sure. So, and then you have that front end part of a formula. So now the front end part, which is like zeolite, there's a lot of zeolite products out there that have water in them, that are spray, different ways of applying. Some are just powders. So if you look on the bottle, it should tell you that it's 99% chance micronized, which is micron meter sized. That means that it's more of a gut detox, okay? Now, zeolite, whether it's a gut detox size, like a micron size, or whether we're talking about MasterPeace, which is a nanometer size, the zeolite can better bond and pull heavy metals and do different, what they call cation exchanges. Okay. And that's a fancy word for your body saying, hey, I'll give up this metal if you give me this, and then with this mineral, and they want to do switching grabs and trade backs. That's what all your cells are in your body does with its nutrients. If you are nutrient deficient, it can't do too many trades, and it doesn't like to do them because it doesn't have very much good stuff to barter for, right? They're like, hey, I'm not going to give up what I got. You ain't got no good nutrients. So for the front end part of any formula to work, however it's broken down with scientific words and all that, the effectiveness of this, which is what you're trying to do, depoison the body, depends most critically on what the replenishment is, the offering in exchange. So what our formula is like I said before, what science knows as the healthiest substance on earth, which is marine plasma. Right. Seawater, of course, the oceans are 4/5 of the world, and they hold it all together, right? There's fish poop, there's dolphin pee, there's everything. It's all together, the life. Everything is in a good balance. But in that whole ocean water, just like your whole human body, where's the healthiest part of you in your human body right now? It's what they call your blood plasma. Your plasma is your healthiest. So plasma, in a long discussion made into a few words, is sacred. So in the ocean where life begins, the blueprint happens in a space where you have horizontal waves and winds And those currents go with the vertical currents, which is primarily made by the density of the ocean. And when you have it real perfect, then you see a toroidal field that looks like a donut. And those waters are going down. And if there's plankton or phytoplankton down there, the phytoplankton and the plankton, which are the very first organisms that aren't single-celled organisms that popped up on Mother Earth, is in the ocean, and it's the plants of the ocean. So it has the blueprint of life, and that water, that ocean water, it's not just over here by this beach in Mexico and over here by this place. We're talking about where it's coming in on itself and imploding on itself, restructuring itself, and being fed by the mineral nutrient dense plankton that hold the blueprint of life in it. And then if everything is in the right way, then our husband and wife team that does the harvesting, that have been doing the harvesting since the man was 7 or 8 years old with his dad, a man that could swim in the ocean before he could walk, was sitting there, and his passion is collecting the marine plasma perfectly because he doesn't care about the money.
Yeah.
He's just like the mission of MasterPeace. It's a mission done for humanity and mankind, to give mankind a chance to be their healthiest, best version so that they can feel better during the day. They have better thoughts. They're not in as much pain. Their autoimmune stuff isn't kicking their butt. They're sleeping a lot better at night. Their third eye is a lot clearer. So they're actually being able to dream. They're feeling connections again with people. You're my brother. However the conversation goes, I always know you're my brother. When we have that connection, there's a certain accountability and responsibility. I honor the fact that what happens to you happens to me. Yeah. That takes our quality of life with that inner knowing at all times, which when we get this junk trapped nanotoxic stuff out of our bodies, which is totally not meant to be in our body on any level and screws us up in infinite ways, when we get that out, we get to shine again. Yeah. We get to illuminate. We get to show off what kind of attitude and what we bring to the person at the stores that we see, our family, our children, our partners, people we work with. Everyone in our life gets to feel that and respond to it and be upgraded by it. And that's what we're about. You know, marine plasma, we looked at the healthiest back end of the formula, right? I told you we got the zeolite at a perfect size range that is all intracellular capable. And there's a ton of it. And so it's negatively charged. Yeah. The stuff in your life that's bad for you, 95% of it is positively charged. So when we send in a negative magnet, it's bonding to the bad stuff. And at the same time, your body will give up the bad stuff easier because it's soaking in marine plasma. That's why you take the MasterPeace. I always suggest and tell everybody, take it by itself. It is sacred. Your body needs to register it by itself. Your body doesn't need your mashed potatoes with it or your pasteurized orange juice in it, diluting it down, making your body not be willing to go into this transmorphic, this pleomorphic, this willingness to completely just become its best self. Yeah. You know, you take MasterPeace by itself, it's like the older brother that's the most perfect older brother anybody could have, comes into the room, you're like, I told you my older brother's going to be, this is the best day of our lives. We can do anything we want. And, you know, and then all of a sudden the body can upgrade so much better. So, yeah, we got marine plasma. We got zeolite, which is the master binder to toxins, the master chelator. And it's a match made in heaven. And I think that if people would have had the true intentions, I'd become quite a formulator dealing with nano labs and listening to people who had made careers and out of it and stuff. But I wasn't that way 2 years ago. And, you know, that's kind of the way it's been for anything I've ever become great at in my life. You know, is that way that's the way it is. And you know, I
can honestly say, Matt, I mean, whatever you're doing there, I've had moments in this past week where I felt absolutely incredible, literally incredible. Yeah. I've never felt as present.
Yeah.
you know, and I can really vouch for it, you know, and it'd be very rare because I don't really take supplements. Like I say, I don't take them. So for me to notice the difference so quickly, you've obviously got something very special there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you able to, because one thing I noticed over the past 18 months or so in the UK especially, where people are talking about heavy metal sort of detoxes, are you able to, without mentioning names, or are you able to mention names? I mean, the one that came apparent to me was a product called Clean Slate. So that was one that everyone was talking about. That was all over social media. But this is different, isn't it? I know you do Zeolite, but you've got Marine Plasma, which is completely different, isn't it?
So yeah, so when we started MasterPeace, I was trying to read government studies on how they got different things. I was trying to get zeolite down to a nano size, and I needed to know the right type of size. It was all beginning, right? And so at the very beginning, I had nano equipment that was in my home. That was an ultrasonicating homogenizer and stuff. And I was in over my head, to say the least. So I made every kind of mistake you can imagine. I blew out $600 titanium bits doing rookie mistakes. I didn't know any better. When I knew I was in over my head, I contacted every nano lab in America I could find. And we found who's touted as the #1 nanotechnology lab in America. And we said, hey, we need to learn how to get this down to the right, what I call nano emulsifying, which is getting inside of a cell, nano emulsification. So Clean Slate's owner is a nano emulsion biotechnology scientist. And a great product. Now, we can compare ingredients and take a look at the products, but I'll set the stage this way. The first thing that MasterPeace's formula did in its long process of perfecting and finessing itself was I gave over the last 2 different formula types of Clean Slate, along with Touchstone's PBX, and at the time, a company called Zoe Global's Clear Drops. I handed them over to Michael Coe, the Chief Scientific Officer and Chief Lab Scientist for BioNTech, which is Forest Labs headquarters in America. They have $40 million in nanotechnology equipment. They have 3 different labs that are all specifically about nanotechnology. I handed their high guy, after he told me, the guy at the very top, who's been in mRNA for 25 years, he said, hand me the best company's products out there. And so before we had even contracted their services, I gave them over Clean Slate's last 2 formulas, and they reverse engineered them. So molecule for molecule, I know exactly everything about Clean Slate. I can tell you that we finessed and perfected our formula 100 times over, because every decision we would make was based on the highest good for all of humanity. We were muscle testing it. We're making all of our decisions with the feedback from bioresonance and different quantum biofeedback devices. And, we have about 10 times, we have the same quality of zeolite. It's 97% clinoptilolite. They put on their thing like aluminum dioxide or aluminum silica. They're only saying that because you can't sell zeolite in European countries. So they put that on the label to be able to get their product into European countries. That's the only reason why they do it. They used to put sea salt. Sea salt is sea salt, right? It's inorganic minerals. It's not bioavailable minerals. You don't put sea salt in food and think you're all of a sudden getting all your nutrition. It's not being absorbed. It's not as nearly as good as marine plasma. So, we have about 8 times more, 7 times more of the same quality zeolite in MasterPeace as a bottle of Clean Slate. We sell ours to anybody on earth for $52.99. They're at like $75.
Yeah.
When you test out our product, muscle test it, and you, as a food and dietary supplement based on the highest good for all of humanity, our product is exponentially times more effective and better. If you look at the testimonials of people side by side, it's very clear there's something special about MasterPeace. they have preservatives. I'm not big on preservatives. I don't want someone to explain to me how natural a preservative is. You know, about potassium sorbate and and tell me where you're getting them from, but I never see anything. We're a very transparent company.
Yeah.
What you see with Clean Slate is a great marketing thing that is telling people this amazing story about this rogue nanobiotechnology scientist that this last year, mind you, was on the front of Forbes magazine, has started a pharmaceutical company and spoke proudly about transhumanism and merging pharmaceuticals with nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals at the World Economic Forum.
If you're enjoying everything that we're doing here at Drake, Michigan, please subscribe, ring my bell, and let's enjoy this journey together.
You watch these people when they're on their social media and they want to show you how they're in Dubai buying $100,000 vehicles for his wife and proclaiming like, what our intention was to make a product that was going to help mankind out in a way that there was a big call out for that. That's what drove it the whole time. Everybody on my team, on our team, are the most pure, well-intentioned souls that are giving their number one resource. Their number one resource for all of us is time, energy, and our focus. What are you putting your time, energy, and your focus into is what you're giving your best to, right? Absolutely. And we got a huge herd of people that as soon as they see what we're all about and they start looking at everything, even from the way our affiliates and people that are talking about the product. We're not an MLM. That is a program over with Clean Slate. You have to pay to be a member, to be a Root Prime member. We don't have those obligations. If someone makes an account with us and doesn't purchase, nothing ever happens to them. They don't have to worry about a bill or anything weird like that.
Yeah.
What we are trying to do is make it available for every single human to get the opportunity and choice to at least say, I'm going to give this a shot and see if there's anything to it. We're not going to be ever raising our prices. We pay out every single bottle. Our system, you can't just go sign up without the system recognizing exactly who brought you there, which means deservedly so, people, your time, energy, and focus should always be fairly protected and compensated right. I don't care. I'm the most anti-materialist person out there. Money does nothing in my decision making ever with anything. And I still know that it's critical that the people that got you to the World Series or got you to the Super Bowl or whatever sport is out there, the people that got you there, which are the people with the boots on the ground that are saying, hey, here's my experience. And wouldn't it be great if something like that happened in your life too, for barely $1 a day?
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about, man.
I love those ethics.
Our formula. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do love those ethics. I do. That is so important. Especially in the world that we're in today, people are very distrusting of what's going on, obviously, these past few years. So they're going to be looking for options for an ethical company, ethical people that they can trust, because people are certainly not going to be jumping into doctors' offices like they were 4 years ago, because they've lost trust with the health practitioners, especially in this country. So they're looking to take control and take responsibility more for their own health. And I think what you're offering here is a real opportunity to better themselves, to better their families, but also with, like you're saying, with this affiliation opportunity, you're given an opportunity as well.
We have to just have the common sense to know, like, look around. People are way more unhealthy than they were 20 years ago. So we do have this intercellular toxicity that we got to get out of our bodies faster than it's currently been leaving.
Yeah.
So you got to turn to a product out there, something to help you. Your clean water ain't going to do it. Your great diet and your will, your intention is not going to do it. You've got to choose something. It might as well be something that doesn't make you get up any earlier, doesn't make you go work. All you got to do is put 6 drops underneath your mouth. It would be nice to pay less than more. We're the lowest cost option in the market. We're by far the highest quality product.
Yeah.
And the people that make it happen are affiliates, and because we're not ever going to be able to make it to market. The mainstream markets, Walmarts and Costco's, are not interested in any products like this being on the market because people won't buy a lot of the other products that are in the pharmaceutical because they'll feel too good.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, they're not going to change their modus operandi for MasterPeace. So it's our people, maybe you, whoever wants to depoison themselves. And if you put your time and energy back into MasterPeace, no matter if you're getting involved now, a month ago, or in a year from now, it's still going to pay everybody out the same way. And it doesn't go up the ladder. You don't have to worry about when you get in on the ladder. Whoever brought you to MasterPeace is going to get 25% every time you get a bottle. The person above them is going to always get 5%. That's never going to change. And you will get that same security of your time and energy and focus to be involved. And it takes all of us. It takes all of us. But I'll tell you this, everybody that's come over and tried MasterPeace that has used a lot of nano zeolites and zeolite powders, find out why basically all of them are feeling these completely next level results. See why we're getting the testimonials that are so much better than these other companies' products are helping them experience.
You must be so proud of your achievements so far, then, Matt. To find the guys to get the Marine Plasma. This journey itself is very exciting for you on a personal level. You must be so happy that you've got this product that you've got this. You know it's going to help people. It must feel amazing to know that you're going to be changing the world. It's just great.
It is going to change the world. It was specifically designed to raise the level of consciousness of the world if you look at on the David Hawkins map. But it's not me. There's a huge team here already. I have a friend who is now my personal assistant, but has been with me from the very beginning. And when you got to go do something and you got to go into a completely foreign, unknown area, making a nano zeolite formula that is going to purify and cleanse and detox the human body so that their vibrational frequency and consciousness can lift and they can become a beacon instead of a fucking life-sucking, blood-sucking source, you know, like all these people that'll tell you about their health and disease problems all day if you let them, but they won't do a single thing about it to try to reverse it. But so what we've had is a team that is incredible because our intention is really to see this thing through and see what happens, making decisions based on the highest good of mankind. And that's why we went from we first started off with the back end of the formula as being bee pollen, which is really healthy. And then we went to pine pollen, which is super healthy. And we were doing mixtures of them. Then we went to fulvic acid, which is really healthy. But then when we found marine plasma, if there was anything else healthier than marine plasma, we would have done it. But it was the intention of trying to find the healthiest thing. If we would have only cared about how much it costs or not, or how good it is to market, let me tell you something, guys. Marine plasma is so good for you, you don't have a clue what it is. There's a reason for that. It is so good for you, you've never heard of it probably, or at least where you even understand what it is and how it comes about in the world. It's not in very many places. You can't harvest this stuff during the summertime like most of these companies do. The charge in it and the oxygen levels aren't what you would want it to be. This stuff is super, super, it's the healthiest stuff on earth. And it's 99% of the formula. And so, you know, it took a team. I would have to go and say, oh, Matt, we got to figure out how we're going to minimize or fractionate down this with the zeolite when we were looking at different ways of formula. And I would tell Matt Senna, go research this. And that booger would spend 8-10 hours figuring out every little thing and come back to me with all of it so I could discern and research through it and then know the right next steps. And you're talking about doing that with the help and analysis of the most state-of-the-art technology, which was at Kansas State University labs, where they could use not just dynamic light scattering devices, which is very advanced and usually the most state-of-the-art equipment in nano labs, but getting into things where we were using this intention, the purest intention for mankind, along with nanosite devices, which can analyze things down to a picometer size, which is 1,000 times smaller than nano. You start getting into that type of capability, and you really start to see what humans that together are synergistically putting their intention and their resource into can come up with. And it was really just a manifestation of a call out of something that everybody knows something had to give. We had to find something that was going to help us. It's not the only thing. It's the keystone product, but a keystone can't be a keystone. You can't have a keystone without all the other stones and the cornerstones. Yeah. So it is the keystone part to thrive again in today's toxic filled world. To thrive in today's toxic filled world, you got to be able to clean out intracellular. So it definitely is the keystone aspect of it. But man, there's no way I could lay claim to it all, brother. It would be, look, a lot of this stuff, I'm still not, I understand the formula. I understand how the formula is going to affect mankind and improve it in a scientific, step-by-step way. But there is a lot of stuff going on here, and we got over 100 of us that are full-time.
That's amazing.
You know, and guys like you with your heart and what you don't waste your time doing things other than trying to help mankind out.
Well,
so
that's what we're here to do, aren't we? That's what we're here to do. Otherwise, what's the point if we're not going to be on the right side? You know,
that's right. There's a bunch of us flocking to MasterPeace right now. If you take a look at the people we got just in UK, number one, if everybody wants to talk about clean slate, I'm just going to say this: the lady that put them on the map is probably the most world-renowned dark field microscopy analysis expert. As well as a pure and true humanitarian. She is a naturopath doctor out of Northern London. Her name is Carolyn Mansfield. She is one of the most amazing and beautiful human beings that are walking our planet, period. So she provided to Root Clean Slate analysis that no other company had gotten before.
Yeah.
Well, she's involved with us now. She doesn't push Clean Slate. She pushes us. She gives us dark field microscopy analysis videos, such as the ones that are on our website and social media. That's her. She's moved over. She doesn't do anything unless it's what's right and true and good and better for people. Nothing else means anything to Carolyn Mansfield out of the United Kingdom.
See, that's the
one of your finest doctors over across the ocean from me. And the one who is solely responsible, anybody that was with Root Clean Slate at the beginning in the 2020, 2019, it was her analysis that put them on the map. Well, she's with us.
That's fantastic.
And you can pay less. You can get a better performing product. If you want to get involved, anybody that's done the Clean Slate thing, they know that they're getting a 15 and 10% commission, and all the other money's going up to people above them that they don't even know. Well, you get paid 30% with us, which is more, and it's the person that referred you and then the person above them. So you know whose bread you're buttering by improving your health and buying MasterPeace. It's a good system. It's fair for everybody. It's right. Yeah, it's why we made if we were just pricing it, oh, look at our quality compared to all these companies that we reverse engineered. What's the most money we can get? Ooga, ooga. Well, you could spend $200 a bottle on MasterPeace, and I could easily sell it as getting more 3 times the quality. I could say, hey, it's 8 times the quality of Clean Slate. So pay 3 times more the price to get 8 times more the quality. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Anybody would jump on there. Well, guess what? Most of your listeners are smart enough that they don't want to spend their whole life being slaves for this money thing. And so a lot of them have forsaken money for happiness and vitality, and they become aware, and their peace and tranquility, those things are sacred above working 50 hours a week with idiots they don't want to be around just so that they can have an extra $100 a week on Friday when they get paid their little scruples. So, I'm looking at where's this thing starting with, and it has to be affordable for everybody. If this is truly for mankind, doesn't it got to be priced in a way where everybody can afford it? You get your dose is smaller too. You're talking about a 5 or 6 drop dose instead of a 10 drop dose. Each 5 drop dose compared to a 10 drop dose is still going to have about 4 times more zeolite, the same quality as zeolite, as well as marine plasma instead of sea salt. They say concentrated seawater. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
They use a term called concentrated seawater. There's no such thing as that. You could say concentrated seawater would be sea salt, but then they also used to put on their label concentrated sea salt. There's no such thing as concentrated sea salt. Right. So they use sea salt. They have a fulfillment center make their product. It is not Dr. Christina Rahm. She is not in her $10 million home basement putting her intention and her woo-woo quantum devices on the product. It is made at a fulfillment center by some guy named Bob and Jim. They make $20 an hour, they get benefits, and they're in charge of taking this much zeolite with this much water, with this much potassium sorbate, dissolving it for this long. That's their job. Then they dispense it in the bottles. I don't know what their intention is. They might hate their job. I don't know, but I can tell you with MasterPeace, guess what? When I tried to call fulfillment centers and tell them about the process of the magnetism, the electromagnetism, taking the positive polarity out of it so it increases the zeta potential or the binding ability of the formula and the zeolite. When I started going into all this and the way you have to baby in the zeolite during one of the processes to be able to get as much as we do in there, they all abandoned me. They won't even, this formula process is too difficult. It's too unlike anything they've ever done before, and they don't want the job. So guess what? I'm supposed to be this founder and this CEO guy. I'm supposed to be able to go off into the sunset and die at a ripe old age on the beach with my kids. But no, I have to make it because it's not replicatable. Theirs is replicatable. That's why it's being done at the fulfillment center.
Yeah.
That's how I would put my whole debate about. So I'm protecting people because I just think people should want to get a lot more, pay a lot less, and know they have something that's come from the purest and best intentions for them and everybody else.
There's so much to be said about that in terms of pure intention and love, because that frequency that's going into the product alone, like you say, you could have somebody on a production line hates the job. Then a lot of people don't realize the power that's actually involved in that alone.
Right.
So the fact that you guys are doing it with love and intention.
We keep an 850 consciousness field. I have a very specific 850 level of consciousness field from the David Hawkins map of consciousness that beams 24/7 directly on where it's being made at. Wow. It's made in a huge barn, which has never been finished off. It doesn't have any chemicals in it. It's brand new. There's no bad energy in there.
Yeah.
Okay. The only people that are ever around it when I'm making it is my little babies. I got kids that are 27 all the way down, but I might have my 1 and 3-year-old in there, but they got to stay back. And that's a good starting place. It's only raw wood in there. None of it's treated. That stuff makes a difference.
It does.
Like from the time I take the zeolite out and start the process to everything else until I'm the dispenser. until it's sealed up. You don't have to worry how many different people was going into it. Me, I know what my heart's made of. I know, okay? So that if that kind of thing, if people say, oh, you got to protect the supply line, if all that kind of stuff really makes a difference to you, then put a price on that. My price is the lowest price in the market. That's what we made it at as the MasterPeace team. You know, so it's everything people could want, and you know, it's here for them. It's been created and manifested for them and everybody else.
It's incredible
cool.
what you're doing, Matt. It's really, really incredible. And
Yeah.
it's something
It's a huge group of us.
I'm very excited by it, and it takes a lot for me to get excited about products, I must admit. And I'm
Right.
because I have felt the benefits within a week and a half, 2 weeks. I've felt it already. I know what it can do already. And I'm a pretty healthy guy, relatively healthy, but I've noticed that difference. So I know if I was to introduce this to friends and family, I am confident I am giving them the right product. So
Right.
I'm very excited by that. Can I ask you something, Matt? Because I know I can't keep you for too long, and I'm aware that you're a very busy man. Without saying too much about the words, but obviously the past 2 years there has been certain medical procedures that's been going on due to a so-called the thing that's been going about. Now, these people that have had these medical procedures, a lot of these people are falling ill. And they may be looking for opportunities also to detoxify. Is this a product that can help them, do you think? Or have you had any testimonials on that already?
Well, we have testimonials on everything, and you know, our testimonials are amazing, and you know, are we worried about being censored here? Because are we talking about graphene?
Yeah.
Are we talking about?
Yeah.
So the ingredients in it is becoming very well documented. There is graphene in there and hydrogel. So that's that. There's no lie. There's no exaggerating conspiracy theory about it. The evidence and data and analysis that I have seen, and that I talk with a few, maybe more than a few people in my life about, is that, you know, graphene is not just coming up in people that are jabbed too, not always. So it means it's coming, it's another area, it's another things. Or with the shedding aspect, which I get a lot of my information from someone who is the opposite of a conspiracy theorist, and wants to believe that there isn't evil people anywhere in the world that have big resources that are globalists or whatever you want to call them, deep state or whoever. And but after analyzing blood and witnessing in a structured lab setting, hitting the blood with different electromagnetic frequency waves and whatnot, seeing graphene start to replicate, or and there's all different types of graphene, guys. There's graphene lattice, there's graphene ribbons, there's all kinds of things. You get into nano-sized dots, nano dots, graphene, and the nano level, and then you get into quantum dots, which are, you know, peak even smaller. And they respond and do things that they're programmed to do in the body. And yeah, you know, there's a lot of things that are in the works that that good intentioned people are putting together so that people will have a protocol to be able to follow, that's backed by you know, evidence and stuff that can show them what's going on. But yes, this, you know, MasterPeace is going to help with in any type of what someone would maybe think is neurological, autoimmune, all that stuff comes from a real deep layer of poisoning, what I would call poisoning. Anything that's not naturally in a human body at a certain level is poison. That's what I would call it. They say, what is the acceptable levels of heavy metals in the body? Zero. It's because they're not supposed to be in there at all, any more than a zero. And we got like thousands of times higher than that in most of these people. So yeah, so I can't go into too much on that now. But I can tell you that in a short amount of time, there's going to be even more answers available for mankind, because there's a lot of people out there that need and deserve the help, for sure.
100%. But I mean, this surely can't be anything wrong with actually trying this out if you are suffering in any shape or form. I mean, at the end of the day, it is going to clean your body, isn't it? That's the thing. And your brain. I mean, I have noticed how clearer my days are. That's the thing. A lot clearer. So
when you have joy and well-being feelings, isn't life better if you feel better? If you just feel good for no reason at all, isn't life better than when you just felt bad because all these things were screwed up with you, and your mind's fogged out?
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, it's a great product what you've got out there, Matt. I'm more than delighted that I've come across it. I do believe things happen for a reason. I'm one of those that I know that this product will have come across to me at the right time for a reason. And I just couldn't wait to get the opportunity to speak to you and to pass that on to anybody that's hopefully listening to this podcast today. And we will be putting it on our website. We will be highlighting it on our socials as well. So, keep up the great work that you're doing, Matt. It's much appreciated. And let's get it out there.
Oh yeah. The hard part's over. Getting to the starting gates when you're just a well-intentioned crew of broke people is not the easiest thing. But we're well out the gates now. We've been around for about 2 months, and we've sold in over 30 countries. It's spreading like a wildfire. And I appreciate that you recognized MasterPeace for what it is, and that you wanted to be a part of this team, and for taking the time now to get this message out, and so that people can at least get the chance to see if there's anything to it for their health, right? You only got your mind, body, and spirit to improve. Unless you feel like you have the best health out there, and you don't need to look at one more very, very, I will say this, when you take MasterPeace, the one thing I can prove and that I would promise is that it's the healthiest thing you've ever put in your body. And I can prove that. So that could only send the benefits so awesome. I appreciate you, Ant.
No, amazing, Matt. Thank you so much for your time today, brother.
Awesome, brother.
And I hope to speak to you again in the future. Hopefully we will have, managed to get this wonderful product out to many others. And you just keep doing what you're doing. It's very important work. Thank you, Matt.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate that.